What's this? Just a bit of advertising, really. We have a music festival every year on my land outside, and it's called Wood Rot. I wonder where I got that name from. And various people who played and sang have signed the T-shirt. Advertising is everything, and we'll come on to that at some point in the future with another video. But for now, Wood Rot 12, we've gone to Wood Rot 13. This is the third video I've done on writing, how you can write, how you can put your writing in front of the whole world by having it available on downloads such as Kindle and Smashwords. And what I want to do is carry on talking about how you write and what you can write and the ways you can go about it. So let's just recap the first two videos that we had. The first one was about why you should do it and giving you the impetus to actually get down and start and do it, and how you can fit it into your day. The second video was basically about how to sort of set out your story from the beginning to the end in chapters. So we're going to move on from there a bit. You're going to have to excuse me, I'm going to have to keep glancing over notes because there's just too much information to remember off the top of your head when you're trying to do it. So basically, if you're a creative type person, which I am, then you're going to like everything that is creative. For instance, in my case it's music. Take a look at this. And I also like painting, and if I lean over you can see there's one of my paintings, and a nice little watercolour. I think we've got plenty more. This is not very professional video, but it doesn't matter. What have we got there? We've got some owl eyes and some boats on the foreshore. Basically what happens is that you just need to do things, you need to create things, and writing is one of those things that once you start creating, it builds on itself. You don't have to worry so much about coming up with the next idea, because it almost flows automatically from the previous idea. A bit like daydreaming, really. So anyway, let's talk about some of the things that we can add to make our book really work. You know, this fiction book you're writing, or this thing. Put yourself in the scenes. I mean, if you're imagining it, then, like a daydream, for instance, you see things going on. You see what's happening. You know, you've got to get that over to the person who's reading your book. You don't want dry words, in other words. You want them to be looking and seeing the same sorts of things that you are in your own imagination. So if you put yourself in the scene, you know, how would you react? What would make it a better scene to do it? And the dialogue between the people, it's no good having very dry dialogue that doesn't fit what's going on. You know, if there's a fight going on, the dialogue is not going to be dry and boring, is it? They're going to be swearing at each other, they're going to be shouting. It's got to fit the situation that's going on in whatever you're doing. but it's got to be realistic. It doesn't want to be fake. It's got to fit the character. If you've got a monk who's suddenly involved in a punch-up, I mean, what words is he going to use? It's not going to be quite the same as someone who's a docker. Characters in general should be under-articulated, not over-articulated. Don't give them too much to say, like verbal diarrhea, if you like. Just too much going on, Cut it down, pare it down to very precise sentences. Get rid of words that you don't need. Give your characters speech mannerisms. I mean, not everyone speaks the same. Some people are very clear, precise. Other people are very mumbly. Some people only use a limited vocabulary. They might even have some sort of speech impediment. I mean, these people have to be humans. They don't have to be automatons, all the same, I say, old boy, da 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 da, You've got to try and give each character its own definite image, its own definite sound with his voice, their voices as well. Give your characters worthy opponents. People play off against each other. Okay? If the characters have got no one really to play off of, then again it just grinds along. So you've got to have, for every idiot, you've got to have someone who's more sensible. You've got to have someone who's frustrated by the situation of the others, etc., etc. There's something called show, don't tell, and that's very important in books. What the reader doesn't want to be aware of is the writer. The writer is in the background telling you the story, but if it's literally the writer telling you a story second-hand, then it's not a very good idea at all. Yes, the writer can throw in little comments and suggestions and things along the way that sort of help with the scene, but really your characters in your book have got to take over from the writer. They have got to be more real in the imagination of the person reading. So you have to show, don't tell. In other words, you don't describe the fight scene. You let the fight scene happen through what the people are involved in that scene are doing and saying. And dialogue is very, very important. The more dialogue you get, the more it goes away from the writer and is in the hands of the characters in your book. So you're playing off of all the characters in your book and not just listening to the person who wrote the book telling you what happened. Okay, it's a very, very important point there. Don't leave out total detail. People want to know what is going on around, what's happening. What does the place look like? What do the people look like? And you need to set the scene somehow. But you don't want to do a whole list of, there were green curtains and there was 4 chairs and there was a table. You have to fit that into the story. So if there's a fight, the person crashes into, what does he crash into? Or through, or wherever. So you fit in the bits of detail. So by the end of the chapter, people have got a pretty good idea where and what was going on and what it looked like. But the best books are where the person who read it doesn't know what side the author is on. Okay? In other words, the author's opinion and preference is almost not important. They're painting a fair